we find that the motivation and the physical health of people with an SMI is so compromised, and a lot of the time it's because of the medication they're taking. And I think there's this unhealthy link between having an SMI and poor physical health, lack of motivation, inability to get out of bed and things like that. And it's almost like there's a shame around it, almost like a blame culture.
Oh yeah, because we see it quite a lot, how many people come up to you who experience mental health and they don't feel like they're part of society. They feel different, they don't feel normal. And it's like, it's trying to explain to them, actually, every person goes through this at one point or another in their life, no matter how big or small. But it's about that kind of support network around you is whether you can have a positive mood or not. But it's that engaging side with it, isn't it?
And I think that relationship between physical health and mental health, you can't separate it, can you? There's that direct synergy and one affects the other. And I think, for me, it's an enormous distraction. I live with OCD and have an awful lot of negative thoughts. So to stop internalising, I do something. I've got 3 grandchildren going for walks, finding out about new places, love finding out about history as well.
I've always found with my mental health, it's always been hard to find a place for me to fit in and to kind of feel myself and feel safe. And I guess this is where I use sports to kind of feel safe, but it's also where I have so many emotions bottled up, I have so many things going on in my head, that as soon as I walk on that pitch and I'm playing football, it's all gone. It's like I'm stepping into a whole different reality, and I just feel myself, and I feel safe, I feel secure, I know I've got people around me, and I just find even after I've played football, I just feel so relaxed. I feel like everything I had bottled up and every issue and thought I had is now just gone. And it's like you're starting from a clean slate again.
So what you did in football was always good for me. So I joined the gym when I was struggling, and the worst thing I could do was go to the gym during the day because there was no one there.
Yes.
There'll be a guy hoovering at 11 a.m. There'll be a guy doing an ultra marathon with his earphones in. So you're sort of isolating yourself, but you're out of the house. Whereas going to something like football, when you've got people around you, that social aspect is, the bit that always helped me alongside that physical stuff. It's almost like you're letting other thoughts in. You're just having a conversation with someone else and you're out your own head for a little while. You're listening to them. Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing for me, meeting someone else and just actually having a two-way conversation rather than that continual internal dialogue in your head.
It's realising, gosh, I'm hearing things that other people have got. I'm not alone, and other people are having those discussions. So I think that's really powerful, to do.
It's quite empowering knowing that you're not broken in the sense that you're the only person going through this and there's something wrong with you. It's actually getting around people who can say, yeah, the same for me.
Certain mental health issues or conditions until literally 2 or 3 years ago. And I've always had very rigid routines and set myself millions of alarms every day. My phone is on time at the moment, but I can tell it's probably going off because that's the only way I've been able to cope. I had to learn to do those things because otherwise my life was very chaotic.
I find an awful lot of grounding techniques help with me. I have an awful lot of negative thoughts, so I might do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I might do some square breathing. That would help with my anxiety and distress, but it's very much what works for us ourselves, isn't it, really?
You start putting those building blocks of a life worth living in place as well, because when you're struggling, you start writing those off. Well, I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to do that, and that leaves me with this, and my world's a lot smaller. And then you meet someone else who's gone through something similar, and they've got all those building blocks in place. You think, actually, help me put those, let's work together and put these building blocks in place of a life worth living. And then suddenly your perspective changes, and you stop looking down, you look up a bit more,
I think that's the most important thing I've learned, is that I'm not going to recover. It's a recovery that's ongoing. And I think the best tool I've got is asking for help.